This is Jeff Zarrett. I am here at DaytonDisneyana 2010 at the Trent Arena. It's been an amazing event so far. Over 8,000 square feet of Disney memorabilia. It's been a phenomenal weekend, and one of the things that made it so phenomenal was having our special guest of honor and her husband, Paige O'Hara and Michael Piantek. And it's an amazing, and for those of you that don't know, you're living under a rock. Paige O'Hara is the voice of Belle for Beauty and the Beast, and we were just discussing this. Belle is now celebrating 25 years, or 20 years?
Almost 20.
Almost
We're like
20 years.
19 right now, yeah.
Disney Blu-rays coming out?
Yes, Blu-ray's coming out in October. It's going to be sensational.
You were talking yesterday to the folks, and tell me, what was it like? I mean, you started off in Broadway, or you started off as an actress, and you were in Broadway, and then you went for this audition. It was crazy. Hundreds of other women, going to be a Disney princess.
Well, it's Howard Ashman and Alan Menken really wrote it as you can see when you see the film as a Broadway show. So it's a film as a Broadway show. So they looked at Broadway actors, and I auditioned with several hundred other women, and it was very scary, but also really exciting part of my life. And it was one of those times when I looked at the script though, and I knew the character. She was me. I knew it was my part.
and it was interesting because Michael, you were talking. You were at a Broadway production of Beauty and the Beast.
Correct.
And in fact, you were Beast in the Los Angeles production.
I was, as well as being the Beast in real life. In Los Angeles for about a year and a half. Yeah.
But you said something yesterday that was kind of cool. You were watching the Broadway production, and a little girl in front of you.
Yeah, because we had been out of the country for a while, and we hadn't seen the actual stage version of it yet. And when we got back to New York, we took Paige to go see the stage production for the first time. And Paige was a little trapped, she wasn't quite sure how this was going to be. And Susan Egan, who's a friend of ours, came out and started doing the opening sequence, the little town sequence, and there was a family sitting in front of us, and their little girl. And as soon as Susan started singing, this little girl turned to her mom and said, "That's not Belle."
and that has to make you feel amazing.
It does. It does. It made me feel
I wanted my wife to lean forward and say, "I'm back here, really, it's okay."
Being Belle and being known as, and you've gone on to do other things, so you're not typecast as Belle, but that's probably one of the biggest things you're known for with the name Paige O'Hara. How would you say being Belle or becoming Belle has changed your life?
Oh, it's totally changed my life because it's made for our concert work, our charity work. Now I can actually raise money for charities being Belle. As Paige O'Hara, the actress in Broadway before, I couldn't do that. Not to the extent that I can do now. So the amount of charity work that I can do with having my name associated with Beauty and the Beast and Disney has been phenomenal. And it's been a 19-year job. I'm constantly recording for them and in the studio, and they're putting me on tour, and it's been great. I do other shows, but then when I get to get out and do things like this,
not too many projects that come along when you get the job. Usually,
last 19
a
years.
year. It lasts, a couple of months if it's a film project.
19
I mean, it's not too often that a film project comes along that 20 years later it's still an active thing. It's amazing.
Now, several of our fans were asking, and I think this is an amazing thing because it's not done anymore. You have the opportunity to, when you're doing the voiceover and you're doing the performing, you are actually in the studio with Robbie Benson and with these folks and Richard White, and you got to work with these people directly and interact with these people. In fact, you requested that you and Robbie Benson perform together.
Yes, and they don't do that anymore, but you know what? It really made the difference because the rapport that you could develop, the character development, and just being together, and the ad-libbing, which they encouraged, for us to ad-lib and play with the material. It was amazing. We had some pretty funny stuff come out too that they couldn't put in.
David Ogden Stiers was famous for that too. A lot of those lines that he put in there are ad-libs.
Cogsworth, tell him the Cogsworth line that David made up.
The Roses.
Okay. It was What can I give her? What can I possibly
Right. Flowers, roses, chocolates, promises you don't intend to keep. That was an ad lib. What was the other one? When he was, I can't. He had so many. The one in the castle about the and if it's not Baroque, don't fix it.
Yeah.
That wasn't ad
David is
lib.
Now, you told a story. You told a story yesterday that I thought was kind of cool. Angela Lansbury was nervous actually about singing the title song because she said, I don't do ballads, I don't sing, and she did it in one take.
One take, one take. She went out there and sang Beauty and the Beast with all full orchestra cast around her, engineers. One take and not a dry eye in the studio. It was an amazing moment. I'll never forget it.
Now, you countered that with a story. There was a song that Paige did, and
when she was standing backstage, getting ready to go on at the Oscars,
right.
And, she was standing in the wings, and Paige has sung at the Hollywood Bowl, at symphonies all over the world, and she was standing in the wings, just like, there's Barbara Streisand sitting in the front row.
Nick Nolte, Warren Beatty, they were
it's
all
a little
in the front row.
intimidating. Yeah. So she was standing next to Angie, and Angie said, "Oh my gosh, dear, you're right." She said, "Well, you're nervous too, Angie." And Angie said, "When you get to be as old as I am, honey, you know what? It's important, and this is it."
and you said something that was
And
funny.
then she said, "But if I sang like you, I wouldn't be nervous." And she patted me on the rear end.
That's gonna be.
It was great.
Who would you say, with your career, not just Beauty and the Beast, but you've done Broadway and all that? Who is somebody that you've worked with that you were just like amazed and that you got to work with this individual?
There have been so many. I have been blessed with so many. One of the most intimidating, two, Donald O'Connor for my first Broadway show in Showboat. But then I had the chance to play opposite Jose Ferrer in Paint Your Wagon, play his daughter. And that was scary because I really idolized Joe Ferrer. And got to know him really well, and we had a wonderful time. But there's been so many. Angela Lansbury I have on a pedestal.
Right. Now, if people want to know, because obviously, like I said, your career is not just Belle. You're currently performing in Vegas with Menopause the Musical.
Yes, we're in our 5th year at the Luxor and at the Atrium Theater, and it's great fun. People come back again and again because it's very, very funny.
So if you're in Vegas and you want to go to the Luxor, make sure it's a must-see show.
Absolutely.
And if people want to know more about Paige O'Hara, the actress, the artist.
The artist, yes, that's recent. Yes, just in the last year I signed on with Disney Fine Art, and I'm painting a series of Belle by Belles, which also include the Beast in several of these paintings, and that's quite an honor, actually. I've been painting as long as I've been singing, but now I'm actually doing it for Disney, so Belle's painting Belle now.
And what is the website they can go to?
They can go to, which one's the easiest?
www.paigeohara.net.
.net.
PaigeO'Hara.net.
Yeah, or just Google Paige and it'll pull right up to either way.
But also
Do you ever Google yourself?
Actually, I don't do that. Michael does. But there's the collectorsedition.com as well for Disney Fine Art. Disney Fine Art.
And Michael's no slacker either. You were for several years. You were opposite Michael Crawford in Phantom of the Opera.
Correct. Yeah.
And we were just talking. You Mamma Mia for several years.
For 3 years. Into the Woods, Grand Hotel, Three Penny Opera revival in New York. So
Now, how did you two meet?
I was hired. I had done a production of a show that was optioned for her, an old Kurt Weill piece called Lady in the...
No, it was One Touch of Venus.
One Touch of Venus. And I had done a production of it at Goodspeed Opera House up in Connecticut. And they were talking about mounting a Broadway revival, and the guy they wanted to do my role for the actors' auditions wasn't available, so they heard I was pretty good in it. They called me up, and that's how I met her. Yeah, so...
And I don't know if you'll do this or not because the acoustics aren't that great in here and the timing's a little off. But would you mind just a little bit of Belle?
What do you want? A dialogue or song?
The song, just a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm gonna back out of the way and give you the stage and let you do this. So.
There goes the baker with his tray like always, the same old bread and rolls to sell. Every morning just the same, since the morning that we came to this poor provincial town.
Good morning, Belle.
And there she is, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Paige O'Hara.
Thanks.